I was standing at my father's grave, watching the casket being lowered, when I felt my phone vibrate. It was a text from my boss. "You missed the 10 a.m. briefing. Your things are in a box outside. Don't come back." In that moment of total grief, something inside me just snapped. Today I'm telling you the story of how a funeral led to the ultimate revenge. I'm going to show you exactly how I dismantled his entire life with one single email to the IRS, and more stories about revenge. Grab a seat. It's about to get messy. My boss fired me for attending my father's funeral, so I decided to dismantle his $10 million company piece by piece. I worked for Greg for 3 years. I was his top analyst, never missed a deadline, and worked every weekend. Last week, my father passed away suddenly. I called Greg, shaking, asking for 3 days off. His response? "If you're not at your desk tomorrow morning, don't bother coming back at all. Business doesn't stop for dead people." I went to the funeral. Halfway through the service, I got a text. "Your desk is cleared. Pick up your boxes at the security gate on Monday." He thought I was just an employee he could throw away. He forgot one thing. I'm the only one who has the encryption keys to his private offshore accounts, and I just decided to change the locks. Follow for part two of destroying my boss after he fired me for my dad's funeral. Greg offered me $100,000 to stay quiet, but I'm taking him down. While he was busy hiring my replacement, I spent the weekend in his private servers. I wasn't just an analyst, I was the guy who built his entire digital infrastructure. I found a folder labeled Marketing Expenses 2024. But it wasn't marketing. It was a massive trail of embezzlement. Greg had been stealing millions from the company's pension fund to pay for his gambling debts and a yacht in the Bahamas. Instead of going to the police, I did something much worse. I sent an anonymous tip to the IRS, but I also CC'd every single member of the board of directors, including his wife. Within an hour, Greg called me 30 times. I didn't answer. Then I got a text. "I'll give you $100,000 to delete those files." But I had something much bigger planned. Follow for the finale in part 3. The finale of destroying my boss's life. Greg offered me $100,000 to stay quiet after I found out he was stealing millions. I told him I wouldn't take $1 million. I wanted to see him in a jumpsuit that matched his orange tan. I leaked the documents to the local news and the federal authorities at the same time. By Monday morning, when I was supposed to pick up my boxes, the office was surrounded by FBI agents. I walked up to the gate, and there was Greg, being led out in handcuffs. He looked at me, his face red with rage, and screamed that I ruined him. I just leaned in and whispered, "Business doesn't stop for criminals, Greg." The company's stock tanked, and his wife filed for divorce the next day. I got a job offer from the new CEO with a 50% raise. Am I the asshole for destroying his life? Or did he get what he deserved? Let me know in the comments.
Story number 2.
I served a floor steak in a 5-star restaurant to save my job. It was the biggest mistake of my life. I used to be a waiter at one of the most expensive restaurants in the city. People paid hundreds for a meal, but if they saw what happened behind the kitchen doors, they'd call the health inspector immediately. It all started when the head chef dropped a prime steak on the greasy, filthy floor. I expected him to throw it away, but instead he told me to wipe it off with a rag, drench it in sauce, and serve it to table 7. He threatened to fire me on the spot if I refused. I was young and terrified, so I did it. The guests loved the steak and even gave me a huge tip. But an hour later, an ambulance pulled up to the restaurant. The guest had a severe allergic reaction to a cleaning chemical that was on that dirty floor. Now I'm facing a massive lawsuit, and the chef is denying everything. Update. The chef tried to blame me for the floor steak. Then the security footage leaked. During the investigation, the head chef told the owners and the police that he had no idea the steak was dropped. He tried to put the entire blame on me, saying I was a rogue waiter. I thought my life was over until I remembered the hidden security camera near the prep station. The owners tried to delete the footage, but a dishwasher had already recorded it on his phone as insurance. When the video went public, the restaurant was shut down immediately. The chef lost his license and is now banned from any high-end kitchen. I managed to avoid jail time, but the guilt was too much. I received a small settlement, but I quit the industry for good. I'll never forget the look on that guest's face when the ambulance arrived. Trust me, never eat at a place where the staff looks terrified.
Story number 3.
I canceled my wedding 10 minutes before the ceremony because of a secret video. Am I the asshole for leaving my fiancée at the altar in front of 200 guests and making her family pay for the entire $50,000 wedding? We were together for 5 years. Sarah was the perfect partner, or so I thought. Our wedding day was supposed to be the best day of our lives. I was in the dressing room, adjusting my tie when my phone vibrated. It was an anonymous message with a video attachment. The caption said, "Are you sure you know who you're marrying?" I opened it, and my heart dropped. It was from her bachelorette party 2 nights ago. The video showed Sarah in a hotel room with her gay best friend, who, as it turns out, was definitely not gay. They weren't just dancing. They were doing things that no engaged woman should ever do. And the worst part? I heard her laugh and say, "He'll never find out. He's too stupid and obsessed with me." I had 10 minutes before I had to walk out. My pulse was racing. I had two choices: confront her privately or make sure she never forgets this day. I chose the latter. I walked out to the altar. Everyone was smiling. Her parents were crying tears of joy. Then the music started and Sarah appeared in her $5,000 white dress. She looked like an angel, which made the video in my pocket feel even more like a poison. When she reached me, she whispered, "I love you so much." I looked her dead in the eye and didn't say it back. The priest started the ceremony, but I interrupted him. I turned to the audience and said, "Before we continue, I think everyone should see why this wedding is over." I pulled out my phone, connected it to the large projector screens we had set up for the childhood photo montage, and hit play. The entire room went silent. Then, the gasps started. Sarah's face went from pale to ghostly white. Her best friend, who was sitting in the third row, tried to run out, but my brothers blocked the exit. The room exploded. Sarah started screaming that it was a mistake, that she was drunk, that it meant nothing. Her father tried to swing at me, but I just handed him the invoice for the catering and the venue. I told him, "Since your daughter decided to have a private party before the wedding, you can have the bill for this one. I'm out." I walked out, went straight to the airport, and took the flight for our non-refundable honeymoon in Bali, by myself. It's been a week. Her family is hounding me, saying I ruined her reputation and that they are now $50,000 in debt because I refused to pay my half. My ex-fiancée is sending me 100 texts a day, begging for forgiveness, saying she was just scared of commitment. My friends say I was a legend for how I did it, but my mom thinks I was too cruel for publicly humiliating her. So, Reddit, AI for ruining her life at the altar?
Story number 4.
My neighbor Karen tried to steal 5 feet of my backyard to build her dream infinity pool. When I told her she was crossing the property line, she laughed in my face and told me to get a better job so I could afford a lawyer. Little did she know, I'm a land surveyor by profession. I stayed quiet for 2 weeks. I watched the trucks come in. I watched them pour the concrete and lay the expensive Italian marble. She even put up a fence that blocked my view of the sunset. Every morning she'd wave at me with a smirk, thinking she'd won. The day the pool was finished, she threw a massive party. That's when I walked over, not with a gift, but with a legal demolition order and a city inspector. Her face went from pure joy to ghostly white when the inspector said, "Ma'am, this entire structure is illegal. You have 48 hours to remove it." Follow for part 2 to see her reaction when the bulldozers arrived. Update: my neighbor Karen refused to remove her illegal pool from my yard. Now the city bulldozers just arrived, and she's losing her mind. Part 2 of destroying my neighbor's $50,000 pool after she built it on my property. When the inspector told Karen she had 48 hours to remove the pool, she lost her mind. She started screaming that I was harassing her and that her husband would buy my house just to kick me out. I didn't say a word. I just pointed at the property line. 2 days passed, and she didn't move a single stone. She thought I was bluffing. On Wednesday morning, at exactly 8 a.m., the city contracted bulldozers arrived. Karen ran out in her bathrobe, crying and filming with her phone, as the heavy machinery started cracking her precious Italian marble. I sat on my porch with a cup of coffee, enjoying the most expensive construction show in the world. But then, her husband showed up with a police officer, claiming I had forged the documents. Follow for the finale in part 3.